Good day, yes, to all our viewers. Varsity Cup competition has just concluded last week with a very exciting final between Tuks and UCT. It was my first in-depth involvement with Varsity Cup, first time in many years. This year it was obviously much different from the previous competitions, being due to the COVID regulations, where teams had to live and play within the bubble that was created at Tuks University. I think it was a very successful competition and it's just my opinion. They had a lot of challenges as we picked up through the competition with players, despite all the protective measures being put in place, picking up positive cases of COVID, but they managed to handle that very well. It was also a good test of depth of the squads in terms of player capability, player expertise and level. And I think at the end of the day, as I said, I think it was a well executed and exciting competition.
Right, the good. It was exciting, but what do you see as exciting?
Yes, I
call this popcorn rugby. It's everybody is running around. If you score 80 or 90 points in a game, there's no defense. You win World Cups with defense. None of these teams would have won the World Cup because defense was on the back burner the whole time.
Yes. I must say, Carl, every time I see a team score, I'm thinking about you and our debate about this. I know you see a high-scoring game as a lack of defence and a poorer quality rugby. I disagree. I think it's quite exciting, but then again, we can agree to disagree. But yes, I think the level of rugby, let's call it the varsity type of rugby, many years ago has evolved dramatically. We've seen it now, specifically in this last competition, specifically with the level of rugby that was displayed in the final and even the semi-finals. It's become much more professional. We all know the professional coaches are being involved now, which leads to your more structured play. But yet still allowing the players with flair to showcase their talents. At the end of the day, running rugby, I think that produces a high score is what people like to see. It's rugby.
But it's losing rugby.
Yes.
If you go and sit down, Tuks played a very structured game. Aikies did, Marty's did.
Yes.
All the others, CUT did, but unfortunately CUT it's not up to the level of the top three at this stage. And they lost a lot of guys due to COVID and everything. Like you said, their depth was no. If they had a serious injury, it was gone for them.
Yes.
So, what do you want to win, or do you want to eat popcorn?
Yes, I suppose you want to win at the end of the day. Yes.
So that's my gripe about the Varsity Cup. It's varsity rugby. Yes. Everybody throws the ball around and everything, but what does it teach our players? What type of players do we really support? We've had that, what's it, prop? I think that one prop of the Eagles.
Yes.
All he did was scrum. He never lost the scrum and everything. We'll discuss the teams now in the next video. Yes. He's my first choice. But that's me. You differently. Okay, so that's it. That was the type of rugby. Some we liked, some we didn't like. I like the structured rugby. He likes the popcorn. That's why I look like I do, and he looks like he does because he eats popcorn. I eat nice meat with that. The second thing.
Yes.
That completely, is the behavior of the coaches next to the field.
Yes, Carl, I must agree. There were coaches that were quiet in the background on the stadium, not saying a word, communicating with their players, but then there were coaches right next to the field. Also, at some stage, you were struggling to hear the commentary from the commentators doing the commentary for the TV compared to the shouting from the coaches from the side, which was very distractive. And then coaching from the side, instead of just letting the players play the game, or if you can even take it a step further, it wasn't coaching, it was actually just criticizing, and criticizing the referee, etc., which is probably not on.
A coach is supposed to coach before the game.
Correct.
And then the players must make the decision on the field if they're properly coached. And all that says to me what happened next to the field and everything. And there was not one team. I mean, Ike's, we said the whole time, they're sitting quiet, they're behaving and everything, until they started losing.
Yes.
Then they were jumping up and down and shouting and everything also. If you coach a team properly, and that's addressed to all the coaches out there, then your team will behave on the field like you coach them. They will comply with the structures, they will comply with your game plan and everything. So that's a tip to the coach. That I completely, yeah. And there's another thing. The behavior of the teams on the field. I can understand if, and me and you come from office, you score a try, you walk back and you start playing again. I can more or less understand the celebration when you score something. But the celebration when the other team makes a forward pass, which you had no influence on.
Yes. We must not let rugby degenerate into soccer. With soccer theatrics, etc., specifically. It's one thing celebrating when your own team scores, but yes, there were many instances where an opposing team or a player makes a error, and it happens. I mean, rugby's rugby, we make mistakes where it's very unsportsmanship-like by the opposing team with the remarks that was shouted, the ranting and the raving. And that is unfortunately starting to surface, it would appear. Not in all the games, but there were quite a few games. And that's just not sportsmanship, and for that matter.
Yeah, it's silly. I mean, the other team makes a mistake which you had no influence on, and then you jump up and down and shout. Something that you want to mention about the Varsity Cup that upset you, that pleased you?
No, they were obviously, we sat down, and as the games progressed, you can pick your winners and pick your losers. There were some very good, nice, positive and pleasant surprises, which kept the competition very interesting. Teams outperforming themselves, and then going in as underdogs, and then walking away with victories. And even the bigger teams were set back regarding that, and made nervous by the smaller teams. And I'm also a guy that backs the underdog and backs the smaller team. Rugby is a game for everybody, and it's nice to see smaller teams come into their own. And otherwise, the competition itself will just be very basic and boring if it's not some nice surprises thrown in there.
And Varsity Cup is set to breed Springboks. Which is not the case anymore. I know the guys from Varsity Cup media team made a big thing about Losper. It's Losper, ne? Losper getting a contract at the Cheetahs. They're misinformed. He already had a contract with the Cheetahs.
Yes.
He renewed his contract for another year.
Yeah.
So Zander also. My problem with Varsity Cup these days is becoming the burial ground of players that doesn't make it in topside rugby. We had UJ that had plenty old Lions players. We had Wits that had plenty Lions players. We've got Tucks that had plenty old Blue Bulls players. So they're stopping the new guys coming through. Because you've got up to the age of 25 you can play Varsity Cup. But I presume there's nothing we can do about it. That's where the young guns come in. This year where there was no young guns. That's my other gripe is the rugby community, and I'm addressing it to the Varsity Cup media team. We're not stupid. So hype the game, it's fine, it's everything, but don't feed us bull dust and say we're not breeding Springboks at the Varsity Cup. The Springboks that came out of Varsity Cup, well, the Bulls paid, or the Tucks paid the Bulls a lot of money for the past 5-6 years to run the program. So it was Bulls players in the Varsity Cup. Okay. That we got rid of because of the new contracting system that we just criticized and everything. But all in all, it was brilliant. I mean, I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the crowd not being there. I'll be honest, because 90% of the crowd, 95% of the crowd at the Varsity Cup is not interested in rugby.
Exactly. There for the party. Yeah.
And I really didn't miss that girl from Tux that ran with the mic and shout, UP Tux, UP Tux, running up and down. But all in all, it was brilliant. I mean, it's well done to the Varsity Cup team. We're criticizing a lot. There's things that you can work on, we feel, but there's a lot of things you got right.
Definitely watershed in terms of, I think when they announced that it was going to take place in a bubble, even I had my concerns and doubts about how successful this will actually turn out to be. I think it was a one heck of a logistical arrangement that had to be put in place. So well done to the organisers. I think there must have been many headaches that they managed to overcome. They've proven that the concept can work, which is not only important for Varsity Cup, but important for any other rugby competition going forward, because I think unfortunately COVID's here for us to stay for a while. I'll put it out there, I won't be surprised if we will be playing Varsity Cup in the same bubble again next year, depending on obviously how things progress in the country in terms of our immunizations, etc. But it's proven it can work. It was a successful competition. The rugby was, I think, still exciting and lovely to watch.
No, it was. Yeah,
rugby that rocks. And yes, no, definitely.
And what was brilliant, we had the opportunity to see the plate guys also play. A completely different type of rugby. But we had opportunity to see talent that we've never seen before. Definitely.
Varsity Shield, watched quite a few of those games as well. Thoroughly enjoyed it as well. At some stage, I was actually thinking they were playing even a more exciting brand of rugby than the bigger teams, because the guys that they were playing there really because they wanted to be there and putting all on the line, and also good to see that they were there backing themselves, even as minnows, but backing themselves with the same enthusiasm, believing in themselves, and still competing quite well amongst with the other teams. At the end of the day, you know, we're all here to enjoy the game and to enjoy, to see players develop and also to see the players enjoy themselves.
Yeah, brilliant. Varsity Cup, FNB, it was a pity about that spur, what do you call that?
No, steers.
Oh yeah, the steers thing that wouldn't open, that gave us a lot of laughs. But Varsity Cup, all the organisers, from us rugby supporters, we want to thank you. Brilliant job done. I think we won't be ourselves if we don't complain. That's also a South African trait. But brilliant. I mean, please do it again next year. And I think maybe a bubble is maybe an option for the future. Thanks a lot. Enjoy yourself.
Thank you.